What can you tell us about Spaceballs 2? Your dad is also in this film, obviously. So what does it mean to be continuing that story and that lore? I mean, that's epic.
It is epic. I actually got a lot of advice from Wyatt Russell, who's a good friend of mine, when I was deciding whether to do the film. Because when I got the offer, obviously my instinct was a deep desire to be a part of something so iconic and the revisitation of something that is so beloved and something that kind of really was the springboard for my dad's career. As a son of an actor or a daughter of an actor, or of anyone, if you're following in your parents' footsteps in their trade, you want to carve your own path in as much as you can, and you work hard to do that while also honoring the coattails with which you are so fortunately lots of sledding on, but also you want to kind of be your own person. And he was like, Wyatt gave me such golden advice. He was like, you may never get a chance to do this, and if you and your dad are on the same page, if it is something that you guys want to do together, like it's not it's not really worth holding out to go to find your own thing where it's new for both of you. Like, this might be the shot, and most people don't get this opportunity, and you both share something that you love so much, and you love each other so much. And he was like, I had so much fun working with my dad. He played the younger version of his dad, and he was like, I wish that I had gotten to do scenes with him. We were playing the same person, so we didn't actually get to act opposite each other. He was like, where you and your dad would in Spaceballs too. And so having that information was like instilled in me with a lot of confidence in, like, I am so fortunate to be able to do this, and I was so fortunate that my dad was like wanting to share this part of his journey in his professional career and his career as a father and my career as a son. And so it was everything and more. It was such a beautiful experience, and it was so fun. And doing a comedy is medicinal. Josh Greenbaum, our director, was like the perfect person to be directing us. And Josh Gad, our champion, he's the one who kind of like brought the whole thing together and made sure that Mel's voice is still is at the core of it all. And Mel was very much a part of the whole development and part of getting the whole thing to come to fruition. So it was a lot of variables colliding in a very kismet fashion.
You talked to Wyatt on the set of Doomsday about this. I know you can't tease anything about that movie. It's almost impossible, but what is it like to not only get to reunite with Wyatt and Florence Pugh and the other folks that you worked with on Thunderbolts, but then get to share the screen with some of these other Marvel legends that you, I'm sure, like myself, have grown up watching. What was that experience like?
It was like going to the Met Gala if the theme was superheroes. It was some of the most admirable people working today, all in the same space, in the same universe. I felt very out of body the entire time. It was just another one of those many experiences where I am so, just kind of, this one more than anything was just kind of just truly flabbergasted at how I can be of service, in something like that is surrounded by so many total legends. And I learned so much, and I had so much fun, and I cannot wait to see the movie.
Top Gun 3. We want it so bad. I'm sure you do too. Do you know anything about that happening?
Joseph Kosinski has a beautiful bulletproof vest of security within what he's allowing himself to trickle out, but there's a twinkle in his eye, and I see that, and I'm interpreting that in a positive way. I think if we're talking about that story moving forward, there was so much that had to happen for that second one to be a success, and I don't think anyone that was a part of that takes that for granted. And so I think they're moving forward with caution and with on sacred grounds. They don't want to make a third one just to say they did. I think it has to further Maverick's story in a way that is earned. I have hopes. I have high hopes.
Let's go, Mav. Let's see what you got. Come get me.
Congratulations on this Super Bowl advertisement. This really is a pinch me moment, no matter who you are. Where were you when you found out that you landed this?
Thank you. I was freaking out. I was in Australia shooting Spaceballs 2, and I got the offer. And it was just like a 1, 2, 3 punch of being like, first of all, it's Joseph Kosinski was a part of it, who directed me in Top Gun Maverick. I love him so much. He's an extraordinary director. And then I found out that Kurt Russell was in it, and I would be acting opposite him. And I was like, I should be begging to be a part of this. Why are they asking me? I should be asking them. This is a miracle. I was so excited. And then I read the script, and I was like, this is such a genuinely compelling story that they're fitting into a 60-second slot. So I was like, get me up on the slopes. I want to shoot it now.
You got to start with Kurt Russell, the legend in this. You worked with his son Wyatt in Thunderbolts. Now that you've worked with both Kurt and Wyatt, are you just working your way through the family? Like, is Kate Hudson next on the list at this point?
I actually just met Kate like a week ago, and I was starstruck by her, and I was like also starstruck. You know, when you meet somebody whose family you love and you're like, you want to just like brag about them, but they're like, he's my brother. I know you don't need to be bragging about it to me. So yeah, fingers crossed. Gonna be hard after Song Sung Blue. She's got her Oscar nom, which is huge. Congratulations to her. Wyatt is one of my favorite actors I've worked with, and one of my good friends now. I'm lucky to call him that. And I've gotten a lot of great advice from him, you know, some good parallels in our lives and in our careers. And he's one of I think, you know, in Thunderbolts, he was like truly like a secret weapon in that thing, because he is a comedic genius, and it was really able to fly in that. And then working with Kurt in this commercial, I was like, there's so many similarities, and you can see where they kind of share the same, you know, the same inclinations and the same kind of like timeless, classic sense of like confidence and sort of like this ancient wisdom, sort of like I don't know, it's almost like speaking koans, and so Kurt is the perfect person to be playing the mentor in this commercial, because you just trust his vision and you trust his advice wholeheartedly. And I did. It was such a kind of meta experience shooting it, because he kind of like leads the production by example, you know, and he's such a consummate professional, while also like comes in with so many ideas and really had that character very fleshed out. I know he was having conversations with Joe, I think like months before we started shooting, about how he wanted his character, and there's so much of himself in that. I think that's his real hat, that's his real jacket. Was that his jacket from The Thing? I don't want to start a rumor, but I feel like it was. And then, you know, he's actually riding that horse. He's actually skiing. He's a jack of all trades. He is a unicorn. He's an enigma.
I imagine the first moment of meeting Kurt Russell and knowing you'd be working with him, it's a core memory for any actor. So do you remember that first impression?
I do, yeah. It was in the lobby of the ski lodge that we were shooting in, and we pretty much just immediately connected over our mutual love for Wyatt and admiration for him. And it was so sweet to hear him talk about his son with such pride, and then me, you know, as so much pride as a friend of his. That was kind of the launching point for us. And then it was work. It was about Greg and the mentor, and how are we going to find this dynamic? And it was pretty seamless.
When you were growing up, for me, watching the ads was an exciting thing to see which celebrities were in which. But would you ever have imagined that you'd be in one? This is such a milestone.
No, it felt like sort of an unreachable shelf to be trying to grab some cookies off of. I never thought I would be in one. You know, we didn't grow up watching TV, so I didn't have the Super Bowl experience until I was, you know, going over to friends' houses. And now I'm kind of cursed with this thing where I can't be in a restaurant if there's a TV over somebody's shoulder, because I'll just be looking at that the whole time, and I will be watching the commercials probably more closely than I am whatever is actually on TV. And so I go to my friend Graham Patrick Martin has a Super Bowl like crawfish broil every year, and that's how I'll be celebrating this year. And I'm always tuning in for the commercials, and so it's gonna be a very out of body experience seeing myself in one of them this year. I'm a little nervous.
What are you more nervous about? Was it acting with Kurt Russell, or was it knowing how many people are going to be seeing this commercial at one time?
With commercial storytelling, and I think that this commercial does it so well because it feels like a little miniature feature in so many ways. If you notice when you watch the commercial, I actually don't have any lines, and there's something kind of like this archetype storytelling that is like, how do we get across these core human shared experiences in 60 seconds? And I think Joseph Kosinski, our director, did that so well with these characters and with the script, and in order to kind of like, you know, have a shared moment where we are reminded that like friendly competition is oftentimes actually very beneficial to all parties. Like, I think that it can push people to perform in ways that maybe they are told they aren't capable of, or it can push people to seek out a mentor and a mentorship in order for themselves to grow, and all with a very friendly and like love forward attitude.
Commercial directed by Joseph Kosinski, obviously worked with him in Top Gun Maverick. Did you even feel like you were on a commercial set? Because I feel as if it would feel cinematic in every way possible.
Definitely, it felt like we were shooting a really high octane short film or something, because he is, but also Joe is such a consummate professional that he isn't like putting, you know, despite his like high expectations for his final product, he doesn't bring a very like pressurized energy onto the set. So it's very relaxed, and it's very like, you know, best idea wins and collaborative, while also like he knows what he wants, so he moves quick, whether it's a commercial or a feature, which is really instills a lot of confidence in the actors and I think everyone involved.
What I love about this is it's a connection of two things. It's the Super Bowl, also the Olympics combined in. You worked with some Olympians, so how genius was this of kind of bringing all of these elements together into one fitting commercial?
Yeah, you know, having Chloe Kim and TJ Oshie in there was pretty epic. I didn't have any scenes with them, but I got to meet them, and they were so humble and so down to earth, and which is always crazy to meet like real life legends like that. I mean, I felt like Greg throughout the entire process. I was working with them and with Kurt and with Joe, and so I was just so honored to be able to be in there and get to like kind of, you know, see how they work and be able to represent them, you know, in this story. So I think that is so important. It really heightens the message in a lot of ways.